Well, hello and welcome to our first English Lounge online talk. My name is Sally, I'm one of the international team at Moorlands Church, and I'm doing a short talk today looking at what the Bible says about the topic of rest. If you're new to us today, English Lounge is an English discussion group that we've been running for the past year and a half, in which we discuss different cultural views on a topic, and then we hear a short talk about what the Bible says on that topic. Obviously, at the moment we can't meet to do this in person, but we hope that you will join us online instead for our watch parties and discussions on Sundays at 1 p.m. So, what do you think of when you think of rest? I think that's a very interesting question, because it could mean such a wide range of things. It could be an activity, such as reading a book or watching a film, or it could be not about the activity, but the people you are with, such as your family. It could be taking a break from work, or it could be a specific place. But the similarity with all those things is that they are to do with physical rest, resting our bodies, hopefully getting some energy back. But what about if I asked you, how can your soul find rest? That's a much harder question to answer. And today we're going to be looking at where we can find rest for our souls, how we are given that rest, and why it is the best rest. So first of all, where can we find this spiritual rest? In a book of the Bible called the Psalms, which is a collection of songs, the king of Israel, David, writes this statement: "My soul finds rest in God alone." If you want to read that for yourself, it's in Psalm 62 and it's the very first sentence. That is an incredible statement to begin a song with, for a couple of reasons. First of all, David is saying that his soul has found rest. He is saying that he has not just found physical rest, but spiritual rest too. And David is not somebody whose life could be described as restful in any way. If you read more about him in the Bible, you will see that he was constantly facing threat and opposition. And as the psalm continues, we see that this is the situation he is in as he is writing this song. Yet he still describes his soul as being at rest. And he is so certain of this fact that he has found rest in God that he calls for others also to trust in God at all times and to pour out their hearts to him. But the other incredible thing behind this statement is the fact that at the start of this talk we said there was a range of different things that could give us some sort of physical rest. But when it comes to rest for our soul, David is saying here that there is only one place, and that is in God. And in our next 2 points, I think we're going to see why David is so convinced of both of these things, that his soul has found rest in God, and that true rest can only be found through God. So let's think about how we are given this rest. Well, David answers this question in the very next line. He says, "My salvation comes from him," that is God. David is able to find rest in God because God is the one who gives him salvation. This is not a salvation from the threat and opposition he was facing in his life. We know that because the psalm makes it clear that he is still going through those things. David here is speaking about something much deeper, the fact that God has forgiven his rejection of him and his attempts to follow his own rule rather than God. And the Bible teaches us that that is something that all of us have done. As humans, we naturally look for rest in other things and we want to make our own rules. This has caused our relationship with God to be broken down and we face a severe punishment for it, death. This is why we can't find rest for our souls in anything in this world. Yet the Bible gives us the great news that we too can have this same rest that David has found. You see, many years after David died, God made a way for our souls to be able to find rest in him. Jesus, God's Son, came into our world and took the punishment for our rejection of him. He died in our place so that anyone who wants to find true rest can find it in God simply by trusting in him. So what is it that makes the rest we find in God so much better than any other? Well, the recurring theme throughout the rest of the psalm is that God is stronger than anything in this world. He is referred to as a rock, a fortress, and a refuge, with David's two concluding points being that God is strong and God is loving. And because God is strong, and because he loves the people who take refuge in him, that means that David can say with confidence that he will never be shaken. You see, this is not a rest that only lasts for a short time and that cannot withstand the pressures of the world around us. This is a rest that is lasting, depending not on our own ability and strength, but on the strength of the one who created the whole world. And David clearly finds real comfort in this, even when he is going through hard times. Within this psalm, he talks about facing physical and verbal assaults, with people around him looking to knock him down. But even in that situation, he reminds himself of the fact that he finds rest in God, and that this is something that will last beyond his current situation, beyond any riches or power that he may lose, beyond even death. This is a rest that will last forever because God is strong. And this is something that also gives Christians comfort and hope, even when they go through difficult times, when they are physically tired, when they are scared, because as Christians, we believe that true rest is found in God, because of Jesus taking our punishment, and that this is something that will last forever. And that's why Christians love to be reminded of these verses at the start of the psalm. My soul finds rest in God alone. My salvation comes from him. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I shall never be shaken. Well, thank you very much for listening. We would love for you to join us for our English Lounge discussions, which will be taking place on Sundays at 1 p.m. That's a great way for you to ask any questions that you have and to tell us what you think. The details for this will be in the description and at the end of the video. If you want to hear more about Christianity in the Bible, why not join us on Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. for our online church meeting? We are currently looking at what God's plan is for the world, which is a really big topic and it's exciting to look at, so do join us for that.